To me, the brain is the most interesting organ in the body. It controls everything you do, including how you act, how you speak, how you move, and it also houses your personality. Everything you feel, see, and hear is interpreted in the brain. As I am currently taking an anatomy class, I have recently been educated on the lobes of the brain and what they control. Today I'm going to tell you about the occipital, parietal, temporal, and frontal lobes of the brain. The occipital lobe is located in the posterior or back part of the brain. The occipital lobe is the visual area. According to Hull's Essentials, combining visual images and visual recognition of objects occur in the occipital lobe. The primary visual cortex is a region of the brain located in the occipital lobe that receives input from the eye. This is where the mind interprets color and light. There are also areas in this lobe that pertain to visual communication. In Healthline, it states that this area is critically important for reading and reading comprehension. In front of the occipital lobe sits the parietal lobe. The parietal lobe is located at the crown of your head. It is responsible for understanding speech and using words according to Hull's. Located in the parietal lobe is the primary sensory area. Healthline states that this area interprets impulses sent from the skin, such as warmth, cold, pain, and touch. It also states that the more impulses that are sent to this part of the brain correlates with the surface area of the lobe that is engaged to processing that information. The ability to judge size, depth, and shapes also lies in the parietal lobe. The left and right hemispheres of the parietal lobe have different uses. The left hemisphere is often associated with being more skilled in handling words and numbers. The right hemisphere is more active interpreting images and spatial distances. Below the parietal lobe is the temporal lobe. The temporal lobe is where our auditory information is processed. It is also responsible for interpreting information from the nose, according to Healthline. This lobe is the closest part to the brain to the ears and nose. That's an easy way to remember where this lobe is located. An area within the temporal lobe gives us the ability to distinguish speech and recognize the meaning of words. According to Healthline, this lobe is also associated with long-term memory. Above and to the front of the temporal lobe lies the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is the most complex and largest part of the brain. It is where all your concentration, planning, problem solving, and motor control happen. The frontal lobe is also where all of your personality lies. Your emotional expression, memory, language, judgment, and sexual behavior are controlled in the frontal lobe. Our involuntary muscle control panel is located elsewhere, but the movements that we consciously make originate in the frontal lobe. The right side of the lobe controls the left side of the body, and the left side of the lobe controls the right side of the body. Brain damage is most common in the frontal lobe because of its location. Because this lobe holds so much of whom we are, damage can cause personality changes, facial expression, speech, and the ability to recognize danger. The brain is where we experience the world. Everything that happens to us is interpreted in the brain. I am extremely interested in the brain and hope I interested you on how the occipital, parietal, temporal, and frontal lobes each possess their own ability and purpose.